Good morning, everyone, and happy Valentine's Day, or as I choose to call it, Singles Awareness Day. It's something I stole from a friend on Facebook like a decade ago, and I thought it was fun. So, hope everyone is well. But the mention of Valentine's Day actually brings me to today's topic. So for today, we're going to discuss online dating, the pros and cons / what I personally choose to do and how that may or may not relate to blindness. So here we go. So let me first off say, I do think it's a great thing. Like, I'm glad the option for, networking and meeting people online and, hopefully finding a relationship, moving forward with all that. I think that's a great thing. And I definitely can see how, the internet, right, has just opened up a whole way for us to connect, a whole way for us to find people that we would never find otherwise. And I think that's fabulous, right? So, first off, that's the most important part of this whole video is I want people to understand I'm not telling anyone to online date or to not, right? Like, it's a very individual decision. You definitely have to do what's right for you in your situation. So I will, like I said, share some pros, some cons, and then I'll end it by saying what I do or don't do, I guess. Yeah, I kind of gave that away. So like I said, the pros, it's definitely a way to meet people, right? It's definitely a way to connect. One thing I will say from a blindness perspective is we don't have the luxury of just, going out and seeing someone at a restaurant and be like, oh, I'm going to go talk to that person, right? I'm going to get to know that person better. Or they seem interesting or whatever. And it can naturally happen, right? Like, I've definitely met people out, different places where I'm like, oh, I want to get to know them better. And it happens. But it has to be one of those things where someone introduces you, or you just start talking organically and realize that you want to pursue something, which I actually love that concept, but I know not everyone does. It's definitely not a matter of spotting someone across the room and being like, oh, I want to know them, or I want to at least meet them. And the beauty with online dating with that is you can read through someone's profile. Hopefully, if they have enough stuff written in there, enough information, you can be like, okay, this is somebody I want to reach out to. Or if they reach out to you, this is somebody that, yes, I'm glad they reached out to me. Or, nope, I can avoid that one, So it definitely gives more of a playing field in that sense. But those, at least to me, those are the pros I was able to come up with. So, but that last pro does lead me to my first con. And like I said, this is just from the whole blindness perspective. So one con I would say is you definitely, if you're not able to see what's on their profile and what pictures they have, you definitely have to sometimes involve a third party in the process, right? Which I've had friends tell me they're happy to do. Hey, like I'll look through pictures, I'll give you an honest opinion of this person and what their appearance is, or if things seems on the up and up. So it's an option, but you definitely, at least in my experience and other friends I've talked to, sometimes need some eyeballs, right, on different profiles you're looking at. The second con is you don't really know what you're getting, And granted, now this goes across the board to a degree. Anybody you meet online, whether you can see them or whether you cannot. People can appear one way. They can even appear and behave one way when you meet them in person for a while. And then you find out some other surprises later. Like, it does happen. But to me, it's even more of a risk. Because a completely different person than what was in the photos could show up at a meeting place, at a restaurant, at a movie theater, at a whatever. And I'm not necessarily going to know. I might figure it out eventually. There might be some cues, non-visually, but it's definitely a lot easier to be deceived, right? And you hear of, those stories about catfishing and things like that, which are horrible. And now I will definitely say it doesn't happen. It's not like a everyday thing, right? But it's just something to be aware of. It can happen. And I mean, while a solution to that would be a third party maybe being in the vicinity, not there, but in the vicinity when you're meeting somebody. And this goes for anybody. Like I said, even if you're sighted, like to me, that is still a safety thing, right? To have maybe someone around. Or I've had friends before who were sighted who were like, hey, I'm going on this online date. Text me at such and such time. And if I respond, we're good. Like just so someone's watching out for them, Me personally, well, I'll hold off on that. That's part of my opinion that we're saving for the end. So yeah, I mean, it's a risk, right? That's the second con. And the third and final con, is you do run the risk of rejection. So little quick anecdote here. When I was in college, I got a Facebook message. I wasn't even looking for anybody at the time. I mean, I kind of low-key was, but it wasn't public knowledge. And this person, of course, I didn't even know who this person was. But this is before, even before, Facebook dating was a thing. Because I know now, Facebook has a dating tab, and that wasn't a thing yet. Yeah, I sound old saying that, right? I'm not. But anyway, it was before it was a thing. So this girl messaged me, and she's like, hey, my name is so-and-so. I'm lots of fun if you ever want to meet up and this, that, whatever. I live in the area. And I was like, cool. And I just explained, I was like, hey, live in a college dorm. This was back in the days, once again, sounding old, the days before Uber and Lyft and whatever. And I was like, I would just need transportation. I am blind. I can't just hop in my car and drive to where you're at. But yeah, I'd love to meet up. Guess what response I got back, y'all? I got absolutely no response. Which, you know what? Hey, that's cool. Because that, weeded that possibility out early on. Didn't have to worry about it. That's a good thing. It's for the best. If they can't accept me for who I am, that's fine. But at the same time, depending on your mindset, those of us in the disability community already face a lot of rejection as it is, right? Whether it be friendships, whether it be jobs, whether it be just other life things we want to do, and we're told, no, you can't, or it's not going to work, or we don't need you. Even volunteer opportunities, y'all. It's a thing. So it definitely is a risk of being just one more thing that you add, to the rejection list. Oh, now I got rejected by possible dates. And, I mean, obviously, that's a risk you take, if you don't put yourself out there and risk that rejection, you're obviously going to have less of a chance of meeting anybody at all, even a good person, right? Who you would be equally yoked with and all that. But it's possible. It's definitely a possibility and something to be aware of before jumping in, So those are my pros and cons. Pretty basic, I feel like, but important to think of. My opinion on what I choose to do with my life, and like I said, this is just what I choose to do with my life, not what I think anyone else should or should not do. I personally do not choose online dating for me. And being totally transparent about it, it is for 2 out of the 3 cons on my list, plus another reason. So I'm not worried about being catfished. I feel like I have pretty good wisdom with that. I mean, it could happen to anybody, but right, I would have safety measures in place like that. I'm not worried about. But the 2 cons that I don't wish to deal with is I don't wish to ask someone else to help me examine dating profiles. And that's just me being prideful, totally aware. But to me, dating is a very personal journey, and I just don't want to involve others in it. So shout out to anyone who's watching this who may have offered. I appreciate the offer for sure, but it's just, something that I just feel like I want to do on my own. So that's one. And then the other one is the idea of rejection. And, me personally, I don't consider myself super fragile. Like, I can manage life and get over things, and I'm aware that, like, rejection is a part of it, and it doesn't define me as a person, right? Like, totally get that, totally down with that. That makes sense. However, it's definitely one of those things where if I don't have to do it, like, for instance, okay, when it comes to looking for jobs, I know it's just part of it, I'll do it, right? Comes to being involved in my community, it's part of it, because to me, my community is important. Involvement's important. So fine, like, I'll risk it. This, at least from my life, is optional. And yeah, as I just said, eating my own words here, part of finding someone sometimes is putting yourself out there. But I feel like I can put myself out there without the internet, and that's just me. So for those who, feel like they can manage that, hey, more power to you. I encourage you to do it. Totally in support of it. The final reason that I personally don't choose online dating has nothing to do with my pros and cons list, but it just has to do with, I've prayed over it. For those who don't know, I am a believer. And I've prayed to God over it. And He just made it clear to me in my personal life that I need to wait on His timing, that He will bring the right woman to me when that time comes. So that's just kind of what I've been told from my life. So appreciate y'all listening to this. If you have, I've enjoyed, being in prayer about how to present it and just bringing this to y'all. Like I said, whatever you feel called to do, I think makes sense. Everyone's journey is different. So I appreciate y'all listening to mine, and that's what I got. So enjoy the day, whether you're spending it with a significant other, with friends, with family, by yourself, whatever it may be. Hope it's a blessed one.